Lean on us.
We are here for you.
You matter.
You are not alone.
Are you feeling overwhelmed? Not sure where to turn? The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there for you 24/7. Call or text 988 or chat at 988sc.org. Whether you're having an emergency or you know someone who needs support now, they can help you take the next step towards finding hope and healing.
There is hope. 988sc.org.
If you're getting ready to do your holiday shopping at Sephora, Nike, or Neiman Marcus, make sure you head to Rakuten first. Rakuten helps you save big on whatever you're buying for the holidays. Getting gifts for friends and family? Get some cash back for yourself. Plus, save on festive home decor, party outfits, and that trip to see your fam. With Rakuten, you can earn cash back on top of the biggest sales of the season, so you get the most savings. And it's easy to use. Just start your shopping at Rakuten.com or use the Rakuten app, and you'll get your cash back payments through PayPal or check. Rakuten partners with over 3,700 stores. The stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Join for free at Rakuten.com and get the Rakuten app. That's Rakuten.
Hey, it's Jim Chapman reminding you that if you have not heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. 1, it's free. 2, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. 3, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's really everything you need to make a podcast in only one place. It makes it easy, folks. So do me a favor, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Hi, this is Tiffany Seacard with Home Key Mortgage, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Every business owner has a story. Let Jim Chapman tell yours.
Two fantastic ladies here, and they do a better job at introducing themselves than I could ever do. So one at a time, just tell me who you are and your nonprofit.
I am Beth McCormick, and our nonprofit is Mighty Moms.
Hi, I'm Dawn Birdsong, and I am with Mighty Moms as well.
Awesome. I'm glad to have both of you here today on Local Leaders, the podcast. And Mighty Moms has a great reputation here in Livingston Parish. A lot of people are very familiar with what you do, and then there's some that may not be. Mm-hmm. They may think, with the name Mighty Moms, you go around and you work out and, all those sorts of things. But so we're going to educate them today on what you do. How did the Mighty Moms idea come to fruition for you?
So back in 2009, Dawn started a prayer group. And we were just a bunch of baseball mommies that knew each other, and that was something that we really loved. And so that was how our relationship started. So she started this prayer group, and we would get together on Monday mornings and pray for our own children. And so that went on for a little while, and we would do that. And so then at one point, though, we had another mom join us, and she just brought to attention to us that in her own personal neighborhood, there were kids that would come to her house for snacks after school, that they truly were hungry. And she just was like, I can't afford to continue to feed this neighborhood. And so at that point, Dawn and I both, without really talking to each other, really prayed about it and really thought about it. And I personally drove through the neighborhood, and before I entered into this specific area, I just asked the Lord to show it to me through his eyes. And I literally didn't even get through the whole neighborhood. I had to pull over and just tears, just crying, sobbing, just at the condition that the kids were in. And so how we started was very simple. We would pull little red wagons with water, goldfish, just simple little food items and stuff. And so that was kind of our first things. We would go out there, we'd bring our own kids, and we'd pull those wagons and we would feed those kids. But at that point, we established some relationships with those kids, and we thought that we really needed to do more. And it was more than just going out there every once in a while and giving them a snack. And so that's kind of where we birthed that. And Dawn really, put her feet to the ground, and we really started brainstorming some stuff to do. And that's how Full Tummy Project started. And so that's just Full Tummy is our biggest project that we do with Mighty Moms.
Fantastic. And
yeah, I think when I think back 10 years ago, when we first started the prayer group, I really had just gotten to know Jesus really for the first time. Like, I was born and raised Catholic, and I went to Catholic school, and I knew about God, but I really didn't know him personally. So in 2009, that happened for me. And so a lot of things changed in my life. And I remember my husband and I were doing a garden for the first time, and I was like, I want to grow some tomatoes and make some spaghetti sauce, and I want to be able to give this to some, I don't know, God was really beginning to show me some things that I really didn't realize were going on. When you look back, you think, okay, it was all being weaved into my life in different times. But I prayed that my garden would just blossom, and that I would have enough food to share with people that that might be hungry. Well, at that time I was praying, God, break my heart for what breaks yours. Just break it, because we were going along with our lives in a little white picket fence world, and I didn't really realize what else was out there besides what I grew up and knew about. And my garden did not do anything that year, really. I just had a bunch of pests and a bunch of bugs that ate my tomatoes. But I think Mighty Moms was born from that whole season of my life. And I didn't know Beth was going through something similar, or thinking about the same things. Yeah. And then we started the prayer group, and there she was. Mighty Moms was born.
BJ Pawn and Gun in Denham Springs wants to buy your unwanted gold jewelry, gold coins, and gold bullion. With 30 years of experience operating in the Livingston Parish area, BJ Pawn wants to be your source when selling your gold. So stop by BJ Pawn today for a no-obligation offer. BJ Pawn, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. It really is a beautiful nonprofit, and from someone I can relate. You said it really well in that sometimes you're just going through life, right? Mm-hmm. And you're focused on what you're focused on, and as I call it, your little world. And it's a fishbowl sometimes. What's going on outside of that fishbowl, you really don't stop and breathe and focus on. Mm-hmm. So I would be the first to admit, before I did a whole lot of research into what you do, I did not realize this was such a major issue. Right.
Right.
I mean, everybody I know, their kids are fed and their kids eat, but that's because it's my own little world.
That's
right. There's a whole nother world out there that I don't see. And that's where you good folks come in. And what I hope everybody gets out of this podcast more than anything else is the need, right?
Right.
To realize that you as a nonprofit are so needed. One thing in Livingston Parish that is lacking is really like a food bank. I'm not personally familiar with any of any huge relevance as far as a food bank here in Livingston Parish. And that has been lacking for a long time, I think. So, obviously it's needed, and there's some stats that y'all supplied to me. And when I read over those, I was like, wow, it really opened my eyes to what people need to hear about today. So it's my goal to kind of get that out there, but I also like people to know about my guest and kind of what makes them tick a little bit. And the best quotes always come out of that. So, y'all said some really interesting things, and I'm going to take a few from each of you. Miss Beth, you had said, I asked what person influences you and, is a big influence in your life and why? And you said daddy. So you're a daddy's girl, obviously.
I am definitely a daddy's girl.
But you said, he was very giving and genuine. honest and compassionate, but so selfless.
Yes.
Selfless is really a key word for today, right?
Yes.
So shout out to Daddy.
Yes. Yeah, she has a good daddy.
Yeah, definitely. And one of your quotes that you said was, Miss Dawn, was you said this one got to me a little bit. So you said, I asked what experience is relative to the nature of your business, and you put, God called me to do this.
Yeah.
Right. A calling's a strong thing. You can't run from a calling.
No, and believe me, I've tried. Yeah. It's over the 10 years we've been doing this. I've been trying to run, but he won't let me.
Right. Yeah. If he has it in his plan,
Yes.
It's in his plan, period. My heart was broken for what breaks. Strong words there. And he has equipped you with everything you need along the way. Right.
Yep.
So nobody really taught you how to do this except for God.
That's right.
That's amazing, and especially as far as you both have come. So that really struck a chord with me. I thought that was really worth repeating. Another thing on your questionnaire that I found very interesting was you received the Angel Award in 2013. Tell me about that.
That's with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana. They do that on a yearly basis. It's going on like 20-something years, 21, 22 years that they've been doing it. But they pick people from all over Louisiana that help with children with some kind of health. I mean, and of course, feeding them, that's related to health. And so in 2013, I had a friend who had nominated me, didn't know. And so, I was one of the Angel Award winners. And so now Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, their Angel Foundation is it's wonderful. I mean, just once you win, you're an angel and you get your wings. So it's something that I still to this day get to do luncheons, get to do business things and go and see other people in the nonprofit world. And so it's really great. But the biggest thing we got out of the Angel Award was that you get $20,000 that you get to give to your nonprofit. Fantastic. And most of the people that that win don't actually work or get paid. And back at that point, we weren't being paid. We were, completely running this on our own. And so it was needed. Like it was huge. And the great thing about the Angel Award is we stuck that $20,000 in a savings account, and we knew from that very beginning, way back in 2013, that we were going to have a food truck. Well, of course, that kind of has evolved a little bit, but so when COVID hit last March, we had that money sitting there in a savings account, and all those years later, we were able to purchase a cargo van. Cash out, and so we went and we got that van, and it is absolutely used. Picks up, delivers, does everything. That's our Mighty Moms Go van. So
wow, that is amazing.
So awesome.
God always provides.
Yes,
so
he does. Yep.
So it was there when you needed it.
That's right.
And shout out to Blue Cross Blue Shield for what they do.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh,
I think
so
that's
awesome.
A fantastic thing.
Hi, this is Tiffany Seacard with Home Key Mortgage, and you're listening to Local Leaders, the podcast. Every business owner has a story. Let Jim Chapman tell yours.
Yes.
So, Miss Dawn, I want to ask you. Okay, so Mighty Moms, you had this idea in your head of we want to start really ending the hunger around here as much as we can for these children. But it's one thing to have an idea; it's another thing to realize all the red tape involved in that idea, and especially nonprofits. I mean, there's a lot of sadly, there's a lot of red tape that you have to go through. So what were the early days like of Mighty Moms? I mean,
I'll tell you, we could probably spend this whole hour telling you about all the things that God has done for Mighty Moms. Yeah. And you can't deny it. Yeah. And one of the things was our 501c3 paperwork. Yeah. We met someone early on, and she was just dropped in our lap. She helped us come up with our bylaws and we really didn't know what we were doing. Beth's dad is an insurance agent, and so he kind of guided us a little bit on some things. But I can't even remember who else was really influential with us at that time. But we scrounged up the money for the $500 to pay Sharon Johnson to help us with our 501c3 paperwork. And it usually takes a year or more.
Yeah.
Ours came back in 3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Oh, wow.
Approved, no problems.
Got our
No kidding.
Yeah, so we're like, okay.
Another blessing.
Another confirmation that this is exactly what we were supposed to be doing. But the early days were, I will say this, that my husband says I'm the most hard-headed person he knows, because I will not ask for help. I won't. I will just, I will be mad about it, but I won't ask for help.
Yeah.
But God really kind of really made me step out of my comfort zone, because we needed some gift cards. Remember that, Beth? We needed some gift cards, and we wanted some gift cards for the kids in the neighborhood that we were serving. And we didn't have, Beth and I were putting our own money in, but we our kids were little. We really just didn't have a whole lot of extra money to be given all the time. So we God really showed me, like, you need to go ahead and ask for some gift cards.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting outside in my car, like banging on my steering wheel, like, no, I don't want to. I'll just pay for them. And I never got the feeling that it was okay for me to do that, So I went inside and I talked to the little short man, and guess what he said? No. And so I got back in my car and I was crying. I was like, you knew, God, that he was going to say no. Why did you make me do that? And I think that it was just to say, like, it, and so many things happened after that God gave us, that he just wanted me to say, he wanted me to try it and say, okay, even though you're going to get told no, I'm still providing.
Yeah.
I'm going to still provide for you guys. And he has this whole time. He really has. It gives me goosebumps to think about, because sometimes I forget about those stories, way back when. But we pounded the pavement, Beth and I, and we told everybody that we knew about childhood hunger. We worked our tails off that first year, just getting the word out, doing a lot of research on childhood hunger statistics, and just looking around at different things, like, how can we do this? And Full Tummy was born because I had seen a girl in Georgia who was doing something similar, and I was like, Beth, oh my gosh, this is doable, And we knew a counselor at school, at one of the schools, Southside Elementary, Pasha, and she, really everything just happened so great. The school board approved us like that. Like, we didn't even have to jump through hoops. It was just laid out for us just to walk through.
That's fantastic.
Seriously, am I exaggerating at all?
No, not at all. I guess the only thing with that is, like, that first initial presenting it to, other than the schools, that it's evident that there is hunger.
Yeah.
When we approached some of the schools, they didn't want to be involved in it,
in the beginning.
In the beginning, because they, just like you said, when you see your world in your world, it was hard for them to accept that they had hungry students at their school. And so it was, some of them were like, no, thank you. We don't have that problem here.
Yeah. And, it's really, as a community, it's hard to accept. It's the thought to me of a child who really has no other choice, not eating, is, it's kind of sickening.
Yes,
and
that's for real too.
Depressing. Yeah. And it's something that all of us as human beings in a community, of course, any hungry child comes to my house and is hungry, they're going to eat,
right.
But it's different when you make this type of effort. To me, people are generally good people.
Yes.
But it's making the effort that matters, and it's making the basically you started something that didn't exist, right? And none of that is easy, and you have to wrap your head around that. And I'm sure y'all had lives outside of this.
Oh yeah,
right.
I had 6 kids.
Yeah, six kids. Wow.
Yes, I think one of the things that people don't even understand to this day is that it's just Beth and I. Like, even though we're, we've spent $1 million in the last 10 years in our school systems with feeding kids. $1 million.
Y'all hear that?
That's
$1 million.
crazy. But it's just been, I mean, we have wonderful volunteers, but as far as running the business, running the nonprofit, it's just her and I. So when people get aggravated with us because we're not responding quick enough or we don't answer the phone, I mean, I think you have to take a step back and realize that this really isn't, I mean, it's important to us by all means, and it has come before our families and before our husbands.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, our families are important as well.
Absolutely. And it's finding that balance, isn't it?
Right. Mm-hmm. And we still have a hard time finding the balance
Sure.
sometimes,
It's the hardest thing in life. When you have a passion, and I can speak from this myself, balance is tough because you want to be both places at once. You want to do all things at once and be all things to all people at once. And I don't know how possible that is.
We don't do a very good job of it sometimes.
Well, it's a struggle.
Right.
It's a struggle for anyone because what you're doing is so important. You know it's so important, but so is your family, and so are those things. And it's like,
whoa.
yeah, it's something you really got to breathe, step back, and I'm glad you brought up that it's just, you two are the main, of course you have volunteers
Absolutely.
and things, but you are the spokes on the wheel. You make it work.
We push it forward.
Yes.
Right.
And so
Jim, we're swamped with these podcasts, and I'm in the mood for some local barbecue for lunch.
barbecue. Casey, the problem with barbecue is the speed. That would take forever.
Not at Buddy's Barbecue. With the drive-through line, they can get us fed fast, and that sauce, yum.
It is right in the heart of Denham Springs. Do they have specials?
Yes, they have plate lunch specials every day, Jim. And I bet you didn't know they offer some of the best catfish plates you've ever tasted on Fridays. And on Saturdays, they have smoked ribeyes. They are as flavorful as you can find anywhere.
Okay, I'm hungry. What's the number? I'll call it in.
No, just go online and place your order. By the time you're finished, I can head that way.
That is convenient and really smart.
Yep, just like me.
A local business, and you know what I always say.
Oh, yes. Jim Chapman loves local.
Correct. And that makes me smart.
Oh, please. If you're in the mood for barbecue, go see Buddy's Barbecue at 105 Florida Avenue Southeast, right in the heart of Denham Springs. They're a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
I'm glad you brought that up. You seem to have a great relationship. Tell me about you two's relationship.
Go ahead. I think we say it all the time. We're like mommy and daddy. You know, I mean, it's true. I'm more of the dad, and she's the sweet, compassionate, loving mommy. But I mean, just the other day, Dawn really brought back to my mind that, you know, we make one really great person. Like her strengths are my weaknesses. My strengths are hers. And it's so, and we've learned over this past 10 years, immediately, that's you.
Yes.
You do. I mean, and it's very easy for us to recognize where we step in and where we pull back, and then just being able to mesh together. And I mean, and just like anything, even a marriage, I mean, you learn over the years how to just make it work.
Yeah.
And we don't agree on everything. Absolutely not. I mean, we're human. Sure. But what we do agree on is the core issues of what's going on. And I mean, I don't think we've really had too many arguments or disagreements on anything.
Haven't, no.
And so I think God meshed us together from the very beginning and given us a relationship over a friendship of going out there, watching our boys play ball and praying together. Yeah. And that's what created that partnership to begin with. But yeah, I mean, I think that the main thing that makes the business run the way that it does is that we do know where we fit. We do know what we specifically are supposed to be doing in the business, and never get jealous of the other, or never get, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Or you do it. No, I don't want to. I mean, it's just the way that it is. It flows. And we definitely have two very distinctive personalities. Right. But I think that's, again, what makes it so great.
Absolutely. And so important that you have a partner there that, you know how each other ticks, and
Yeah.
and even in my world, me and Casey, we pretty much run this gig, and one thing that's very important when you have someone else there is they have a vote, so you have to respect their strengths, and any leader knows that that you have to be cognizant of what you're not strong at, and then have someone around you that is. And them recognize the fact that they are strong at that, and have the you put your pride aside, right? And okay, she or he is just better at this, and leaders recognize that, and I think that's what separates successful businesses and successful nonprofits from ones that are not. But it's apparent y'all are great friends, and that sure helps a lot when you are.
But I will say that for anyone who's thinking about yes, sure, it's easy to have a nonprofit when you have, a partnership like Beth and Dawn do. But, it took us some time. I mean,
sure.
We didn't fight or argue, but I mean, we did get our feelings hurt sometimes in the early stages. Like, oh, well, he so wants to talk to you, or she wants to talk to you, or blah, 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 But I mean, really, we had to realize that, what? You're good at this, and I'm good at this.
Right.
So let's stay in our own lanes. And look at us. 10 years later, we're still ticking and going strong.
Strong.
Still like each other.
Still like each other.
Still like yeah.
Right.
Nobody's killed anybody yet.
No, not at all. I mean, we really never fight. So I mean, I think that that's something to really. Like I think I said in one of your questions that you asked me, like, find a partner, stay consistent, stay the path, and don't give up. Keep going.
Yes.
Even when the going gets tough, just keep going.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's something that you've been called to do, or you've been called to not let go of, keep going. Keep going and find that good partner and invest in each other.
So in the early days, did you run into people that would say, you're just not going to be able to pull this off? It's not going to make a difference or anything like that. Did you have naysayers, I guess would be the...
No. I mean, we had naysayers who would say, like, oh, those moms and dads, they are, mismanaging their funds. So, but we always said that those kids don't get a choice. They don't make the
That's
money.
Right.
They don't have a car. So if mom's buying fingernails and a Coach purse and her kid is hungry, that's not his fault.
Correct.
He's in second grade.
Right.
What's he supposed to do? So I mean, we always felt like, we were gonna be obedient to what God called us to do. At the end of the day, that's how we laid our heads on our pillows at night and went to sleep, because we knew we were doing the right thing. And if someone took advantage of us, oh well, that's just the name of the game sometimes. Right. People are going to take advantage. But if I was hungry, and to put my pride aside and stood in the food bank line for my kids, and I took 3 peanut butters when I should have only taken 1, oh well.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to not have anything in my pantry. So I might be taking 3. I might be taking more than I should too.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not us to judge. They have to meet God at the end of their lives as well, and
they'll answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we'll answer for us.
That's right. That's right. And one thing we mentioned, the school system, and I think that's also, these teachers, they kind of see that, right? They see that they see these kids on a daily basis, and maybe they notice some kids are losing an exorbitant amount of weight, and it may have nothing to do with them not eating, or maybe they notice that they're not getting lunch, or whatever it may be. And so they're kind of the first line of defense there. And one thing I do find about Livingston Parish educators and teachers and things like that is that they kind of pay attention, a lot of them, and they will maybe bring something to light if they think it's not right, for lack of a better term. And I think that's important too. I think it's important from a community perspective that everybody kind of be cognizant and pay attention, and because hunger's different than some issues in a community, in that it's an embarrassment sometimes. If you're a parent and maybe you're doing everything you can, Maybe you're a single mom. You got away from an abusive relationship, and you're doing everything you can, but you just, you're struggling to get that child enough food.
Right.
That in some ways it might be embarrassing.
Yeah.
So you're scared to ask for help or embarrassed to ask for help. So how do you overcome, that embarrassment? I think the best way is just to know that there's no judgment here, right?
Absolutely.
Now is the time, more than ever, to support local business. Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom is working hard to use made in the USA products for all their clients' window coverings. Schedule your appointment today for a consultation on Roman shades, drapes, shutters, outdoor sunshades, and even woven woods. Need a virtual appointment? No problem. Call Elisa at area code 225-955-1135. Elisa Verrett Interiors and Custom Workroom, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast.
Right. I mean, I guess really honestly with the way that we do the program, we kind of take that out. Like we're taking out the part where they're being targeted or it's something that they could even possibly be picked on, but they get a full tummy bag and it's sort of a discreet kind of way that they get their food. They don't have to, they're not wearing a badge. They don't have to go check in for it or anything like that. And so each of the schools do it a little bit different, but when they get their food, there is no embarrassment in it. That is something that Dawn and I have always said from the very beginning, that these kids shouldn't feel any shame for grabbing a thing of food, no matter if they're a kindergartner or a high school senior. Yeah. And so we've created an environment that I feel like is safe, and it is different. And the parents, they're not involved. It's completely through the school. The parent signs the permission slip, but from that point forward, nobody knows those parents that are getting, and so that's I think something that really helps out taking the stigma off of the child.
Indeed.
Well, and also I think that on the flip side of that, we wanted to really in the beginning with our own kids who were in elementary and junior high school. I guess they were all in elementary school at the time, but we wanted to make sure that they knew that we brought them with us to this neighborhood, and they met friends out there too, and they saw people they went to school with. And so we wanted them to realize, just because someone doesn't smell right, or they have dirty hair, or they, dirty uniforms, whatever it might be, that look where they come from. Right. So you better not be teasing or picking on somebody or being ugly to somebody because they don't look like you or smell like you or whatever. So I think another part of Mighty Moms is just really students against hunger. Mm-hmm. We've really made it a point to have the schools get involved in realizing that you do have kids that are hungry in your classroom, but you also have kids, because we want our kids to grow up looking out for other people too, not just being self-absorbed, which is what our kids are all about these days, self-absorption. I don't know, my kids are, or they were, now that they're older, they're, my youngest is in college, but it's really important. It was important to me, and I know it was important to Beth, to really make sure that, don't tease. And stand up for somebody. If you see someone picking on somebody because of they're different than you, you don't know what's going on. And our kids saw in that neighborhood in the heat of the summer what was going on in those homes. There was no power, there was no electricity, they were hot, they didn't have cold water. So when you think about that, and then you think, okay, when they come to school, they might not have their own bed, so yeah, they look different from you, and they might even be acting out at school, because they're tired or they're frustrated or whatever it might be. And so
lean on us.
We are here for you.
You matter.
You are not alone.
Are you feeling overwhelmed? Not sure where to turn? The National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there for you 24/7. Call or text 988 or chat at 988sc.org. Whether you're having an emergency or you know someone who needs support now, they can help you take the next step towards finding hope and healing.
There is hope. 988sc.org.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
It's important. That's something that's really, Students Against Hunger is important to me. I want kids to realize that they can make a difference. It doesn't have to be some big thing like Mighty Mom.
Yeah.
Bring a can of ravioli when your teacher asks you to, and everybody in your class bringing a can of ravioli, then all of a sudden you have 30 cans of ravioli. Right. So that second grade class, look what they've done.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm. It's huge.
Well, and what we've done, too, is we have Childhood Hunger Awareness Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so when we actually go into the school systems, and so it's really great. I mean, we didn't get to do it this year, but we would go in and read a book. And so we would have volunteers, Dawn and I we would go into these classrooms and we would read them this book. It's called Maddie's Fridge. It's wonderful. Such a cute little book. But it really goes over two friends that one friend realizes that the other child doesn't have food in the refrigerator the same way that she does. Mm-hmm. And so that she's suffering from food insecurity and that sometimes she's hungry. Some of these kids just look at you with these big old eyes and they're precious and they ask questions, and it's a time to interact with them, and you bring light to that, to these kids who maybe are the ones that have the empty fridge, or those who have a pantry full of everything but still say we have nothing to eat. And so it's truth. You've got one end of the spectrum to the other sitting in the classroom together. And so it gives us the chance to get the kids to recognize those issues. And so I think it's kind of that too takes the stigma away, that you look at a kid and after that, when we go in there and talk to them, it's amazing to see what some of these kids, and we hear from teachers, and then the kids want to do stuff. I've had parents, after we have Childhood Hunger Awareness, calling us and emailing us saying, hey, my kid came home and they want to do something. What can they do? They want to do a food drive. They want to do this. They want to do that. And so kids
make a difference.
Oh my gosh, the littlest things. When we've said that from the very get-go, if we had a lot of people help a little, it's so much easier and a greater impact than a little bit of people helping a lot. Like it's huge. And getting kids involved they're our future. I mean, that's something that we love about our parish, is that they really do recognize the fact that this is our future leaders of Livingston Parish.
Absolutely important. And you're teaching them young, right? Yes. And you develop habits when you're when you're really young, but all the way up to high school years. You're developing habits and beliefs and things like that, and you're being mentored, either good or bad. And so hopefully they're learning this early on, and then taking it into their adult lives at some point. William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance in Denham Springs can service all of your insurance needs. Offering auto, life, health, and commercial insurance, William Waldrop of TWFG Insurance is a proud supporter of Local Leaders, the podcast. And you mentioned, we talked about funding a little bit just now with the, like you say, it's better for a bunch of people to help a little than a little amount of people to help a bunch. You want it all, but
absolutely,
we're not
turning
trust
it
me,
away.
yeah. But so I asked you what specific situation has or will affect your business, and what have you learned from it? And you said private funding. You're dependent on donations, right?
Yep.
Show me goodness of the community that I live in. Yeah. So tell me about you know, somebody's listening to this right now and they want to get involved, whether it's a mother who or a father who only has maybe $100 extra every week to apply towards that, but he wants to help or she wants to help. How does this process work?
Well, it's super easy. You go to mightymomsgo.org and you hit the donate button. But
Can't get any easier
right.
than that, folks.
That's it. But no, I mean, I do feel like because we've been so obedient in this, God has provided for us in so many ways. But Dawn and I, in the very beginning, didn't want to get caught up in red tape of state and federal grant money.
Yes.
So we are 100% privately funded, and our community is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, just to hear the number in 10 years that we've done, you know, we have provided $1 million worth of food to Livingston Parish School kids.
That's amazing.
That's $1
Ladies,
million.
Think about that. That's because of y'all and people like you.
It's because of Livingston Parish, the donations that have come in. I mean, and that's the truth. I mean, for them to hear, our community has provided $1 million in 10 years to feed students. And that's huge. It's not federal money. It's not state money. It's money from the good people that take out their checkbook or get on the website and donate with their debit card. But it's that I think is what has been the biggest thing when I read that. And we just had those statistics given to us just in the past couple of weeks. And so when I read that, it just hit me. I mean, I know what we've done. I know what our budget is. I know what our I mean, I know all those numbers.
Yes.
But when you're sitting down doing the business of it and you're seeing the numbers and you're working all of that and you knowing what you're spending, but to really read that and to really take a step back and go, $1 million has been provided by people.
Yes.
Just everyday people that live in our community that care.
It's amazing.
It is. It was huge.
It really is amazing.
And we ain't stopping yet, right?
No.
So, you know, you're moving right along here, but let's say you have some people and maybe they don't have extra money, but they want to still help. And we discussed volunteers a little bit. And how does that process work?
So if you want to volunteer, we have a volunteer calendar. And so that just kind of makes it simple because, like we said, it's just the two of us. It's hard to, well, how can I help? Well, go to the website. And so if you go on the website, it's got the dates on a calendar that we need help, that we need some volunteer hours. And so you just click on that day and write your name down and how many people are showing up. It's simple. It's easy. And, you know, if there really is something that you want to do and come help with, you can find something to come do. I mean, come help us sort some food, come help us organize some food. But there are other opportunities too that people have. I mean, we have a monthly food pantry. The thing is that we have never lacked in the volunteer department. In fact, there are so many times that we just don't have anywhere to put somebody. And that right there too shows just as much as people are giving, they're giving of their time.
Yes.
We have full-time moms that are our delivery mothers. They don't want to give their jobs up. Like, they want to keep it from school year to school year. And that's my school. You know, I mean,
love that.
Oh my gosh. And they are so committed to that. It's amazing. Dawn really has more of a relationship with that's kind of her thing with these full-time moms. So when I get to see them come in, and because I'm not the one speaking to them all the time, like, it just reminds me that they know the schools, they know the counselors, they have such a relationship that they have built and bonded, and they're such a wonderful representation of Mighty Moms. I mean, we couldn't run it without our wonderful delivery moms.
28 moms who signed up for the whole year, the whole school year. Rains, snow, COVID, whatever. They are picking up bags every week. And some of them are picking up...
Ice storms.
Yeah, right. Ice storms, right. So, I mean, those moms are amazing. And the pack team, same thing. The ladies and men who pack the bags every week. I mean, we really... And they are committed, thoughtful people who show up, who don't just sign up and say, oh, I'll do it, and not show up. They show up.
Yes.
I don't even have to check on them.
Can't be stopped.
Nope.
No. And they don't want to stop.
You're not having my school.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
I love it.
So good.
You know, it's very important. And we... Casey, have you called the plumber about the sink in the break room?
Yep, they came this morning. I can't believe you missed them.
What was their name again?
Giot's Plumbing.
Wow, that was quick, and they did a great job.
They did. And when you need plumbing services of any type, give Giot's Plumbing a call. With over 50 years combined plumbing experience, the team at Giot's Plumbing can handle all of your plumbing needs. So whether it's residential, commercial, new construction, or reconstruction, give Giot's Plumbing a call at 907-6282 and get scheduled fast.
Giot's Plumbing, a proud sponsor of Local Leaders, the podcast. We talk about callings, and we talk about God leading you to things sometimes, and you just, sometimes it's just a feeling, right? So here's an interesting thing. I was going to kind of save this for the end of the episode. So Woody Overton, Real Life, Real Crime, is a podcaster, and of course I'm a podcaster, and we communicate. And he has a nonprofit that he is dear to his heart, and it is called LOPA. And what LOPA does is organ donation. So very close to his heart. And so every episode he promotes, it's his commitment that one thing he can do as a podcaster and someone that is very popular in this community is I am going to mention LOPA every episode at the end of the episode. And I thought that was a great thing. So from my perspective, I'm like, we've been very fortunate here at Local Leaders that we have gained a following, and we, our episodes now are getting 20 to 25,000 views. We have 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. And majority of all this is local people, which is good. It's about a 50-mile radius. And so I felt like after researching all this, I've been searching for a nonprofit that I want to mention every episode. And so I'm gonna do this with Mighty Moms, and this is going to be something that I'm going to commit to, and Casey over there is going to hold me to it. I'm going to make her remind me every episode, and not that I would forget, but I'm getting old.
Yeah.
So I get on a roll. And so, but every episode I will mention about 30 seconds to a minute of Mighty Moms and how important those donations are. Shout out your websites and things like that. But something that I hope helps, because I am blessed that I have a voice, and so I need to use that for good when I can. And your nonprofit really touched me, and I'm glad, because I did not know a whole lot about it. This is what I love about what I do. Whether I'm sitting down with nonprofits, business owners, you name it, I learn more about people. So that's something I'm going to commit to doing. And I really hope that helps. So all of y'all out there listening, now you're on the spot.
Yep.
So go do some good with that. Now, also, you mentioned a word in both of your questionnaires. Both of you had this. And when I was looking over these and I interviewed two people, I always look over them and look for consistencies and things that they really agree on. And the word selfless came up with both of you, especially when you describe what you felt a leader should possess. And Miss Beth, you said a leader is someone who is easy to follow, selfless, they lead with love and compassion. Okay, so, and you said, Miss Dawn, I'm going to find yours down here. Same thing, basically. Servant, leadership, lead with compassion, selflessness. When I personally went into Leadership Livingston, and sometimes I go on almost on a pulpit with this because of how it changed me in many ways. So I have always, since I've been a young man, very young with hair, I have always been very driven. Almost to a fault, and I would say that admittingly, but I was also very self-absorbed, and not, sometimes when people say that, they think cocky, and not that. It's just in my world, I always wanted to be number one. I always competed. I was a football guy, and no matter what I did, I always wanted to be number one. And I don't think anything's wrong with that per se. If you keep your priorities in line, it's okay to want to be the best at something.
Heck yeah.
That being said, my giving back was not really where it needed to be. Now, look, I gave to my church. I did the normal things that you feel good about yourself, and you've done you've done your duty, and you've got a place in heaven, right?
Right.
I went to Leadership Livingston, and in my mind, I'm going to learn how to be a better leader. And to me, that meant learn more skills on how to be number one. Went through the whole class, and when I came out of it, I realized I wasn't a leader. That's what leading is all about, right? I mean, it's not, it's important to be successful, and it makes us feel good. But if you're not giving back for your success, you are missing the point.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes an effort.
Yeah. All the time it takes an effort.
Yeah. I mean,
if it's easy, is it really giving of anything?
Yeah. That's right. I mean, if you have the money and you're giving those people, they're appreciative of it, but give a little bit of yourself too.
Yeah.
No matter what your passion is, there's a nonprofit, I'm sure, someone that matches it. And who doesn't want every kid to be full at the end of the night? That's what I love so much about you two folks and your nonprofit is what it does. And it probably, if these kids, they get full bellies and they're kind of seeing what you do, it probably makes them better people too, as they grow through life, and they'll give back. Maybe they'll, I'm sure a lot of these kids will remember this.
Stephanie Berthelot and the crew at SR Enterprise can handle it all, from sheetrock to texture to paint. Give Stephanie a call at 504-432-9284. SR Enterprise, where they spread the paint and you spread the word.
Yeah, we pray they do.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Yeah. Well, I think that, not just, I always say that, not everybody's heart is broken for childhood hunger. Some people it is. I mean, of course, everyone feels bad and doesn't want that to happen. But,
sure.
Homelessness, veterans, domestic abuse. I mean, just find
All
something
important.
that breaks your heart. Just
Perfect.
find that
Yes.
thing, and do something there.
That's
and
right.
it doesn't have to be something huge. Sometimes it can just be, I don't even know. Sometimes it's just getting on your knees and praying for a family that who's going through some hard times, or a veteran who is having hard times. I mean, there's all kinds of organizations. You just have to, like you said, you have to do a little bit of work to find them.
Yeah, and everybody, no matter who you are, the most popular term that I hear on this show, and y'all said it in here as well, I saw it several times, I call it a keyword. And almost every guest I have says this word, and I never bring it up. They do, and that word is passion. For example, you mentioned Miss Dawn. Do you have a business motto? It was nurturing hungry children to success is our passion. Strongest word in the English language to me, because passion is depth. It's a very deep word.
True.
It's one thing to love football. It's another thing to be passionate for it. In my case, it's one thing to love the fact that you're helping children who are hungry not be hungry. It's another thing to be passionate about it, because that's the depth. That's what pushes you when you're tired. That you've got 6 kids and you know. They're driving you crazy. I've been there with 3. And through all of that, you got to be pretty passionate to continue doing what you're doing on the other end of it.
Absolutely.
So super
If you didn't
important.
have that, I don't think you could keep going. I mean, that's the truth, and a lot of things that you're passionate about, it doesn't matter how good or how bad the day is. That's what matters, is that you're passionate about it.
Right. And sometimes I think that it's okay if your fire for something kind of, needs to be stoked a little bit.
Sure.
Like when the flood happened, we both flooded. Our Mighty Mom office flooded, and I was just like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I can't. I'm just doing the best I can, just holding on to my own sanity. And we were all displaced and all of that stuff. But you know what? I mean, so other people surrounded us.
Yes.
Lifted us up. Those are our friends who didn't flood. They came and got stuff from our houses, because I'm like, people are dropping stuff off for Mighty Moms, and I can't. I don't even have a car to drive it around. So our friends came and did it. And as time went on, and then we watched our friends rally around us and our community rally around us, and we're like, okay, so we're okay. We're okay. We're going to keep on going.
And we came back stronger.
We came back
honestly.
stronger. Right.
The opportunities that were presented to us post-flood were amazing. We are now in a 3 times size building that, we have a office space, warehouse space. I mean, it's amazing to see what came about that point of feeling like you just want to give up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll tell you this, I'm about to take you all around the world and then tie this all in.
Okay.
So I'll give you a quick story. Yoko Ono, who was married to John Lennon, somebody asked John Lennon, when did you fall in love with Yoko Ono? And he said, I went to an art museum, and she was an artist. And he said, I saw her art, and it was a ladder. And it was a 6-foot ladder, and you climb that ladder, and there was something written at the top on a piece of paper. So I climbed the ladder, and I read the paper, and it said, breathe. And I think that's something that is extremely deep. Sometimes we get so far gone with what we're doing, whether it's podcasting or feeding the hungry or whatever it is, we never breathe. And he climbed that ladder and realized, I need to breathe.
Yeah.
And she pointed that out to him. But that's a very, very deep thing to me. And it's very hard to do, especially when every time you stop, you feel like you're letting a child down, maybe that's hungry.
Yes.
And wow, how do you, how do you make sense of that? And so sometimes God will force you to breathe, right?
Yeah. A flood.
A flood, COVID. I mean, how many people, COVID was a horrible thing and too many ways to talk about. But one of maybe the positive things came out that some of these dads like me went home and was, kind of forced to focus on family for a little while. And you hate to use that word.
No, it's true though.
Forced.
Right.
So many people got to spend time with their kids that maybe they wouldn't have normally because we weren't stopping and breathing.
That's right.
And we were, I try to find a silver lining in everything. That's the one I find with that. So I'm going to read the facts that you sent me and let everybody kind of digest this. Food for thought, 11.1%, which is 14.3 million households were food insecure last year. Means they lacked the amount of food they needed in that family, in that household. They had difficulty at some time during the year providing enough food for all their members due to lack of resources. That's where you come in, right? And where we all come in, and nobody should go. That shouldn't happen. Not here.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yes.
I wanted to say that About 80% of the people that we help are working class poor.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're helping all these people who are sitting on their
That's
tails.
a great point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Both
You
mom
don't-
and
yeah.
dad are working.
Yeah.
You know, they just aren't making enough.
And
You know,
you
for
all-
whatever reason.
Yes, and that's a great. I'm glad you brought that up because you always have people that say, "Well, I mean, go out and get a job."
Yeah, they could go get a
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
they
what
work-
if they are working?
Yeah.
Right.
You
And the
know.
word food insecure, I think, like, to really just think that these aren't people who have nothing to eat.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't have enough to eat.
Yeah. Food insecurity among children was so severe last year that caregivers reported that 220,000 U.S. households had children that were hungry, skipped a meal, or did not eat for a whole day because there was not enough money for food. That's a lot, people.
A whole lot.
Yeah. Rates of food insecurity and hunger were higher than average last year for households with children, especially high in households with children under the age of 6, where 14.3% of American households experienced hunger. Yep. Another crazy stat there. And here's one on Louisiana. Louisiana ranks 3rd highest of the 50 United States in prevalence of household food insecurity. I never would have thought that.
No, because think of Louisiana. Our whole social lives
Crawfish
revolved
balls and
around
yeah,
food.
absolutely.
And so, but that there again, it's just you living in your own world.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It's a fishbowl. And you got to get out of that fishbowl sometimes.
Yeah.
And it takes about $120,000 to supply the necessary food for Livingston Parish students to make it through each weekend of the school year
Yep.
without going hungry. A lot more than you would think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And here's another one for Livingston Parish. The number of food bags in Livingston Parish students needed last school year was 21,553.
Yep. That's our full tummy number for last year.
You know how awesome that is?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
y'all are angels. Amazing. Mighty Moms organization has distributed more than $1 million of food assistance to Livingston Parish elementary, middle, and high school students just since you've been in school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's thanks to the good people of Livingston Parish. We couldn't have done it. You know, we couldn't do what we do without our volunteers, our contributors, our you know, just people that are praying for us, people that are just loving us from
Support
afar.
and encourage. Yep.
Right. Yep.
You really couldn't, but I do want to say that y'all lead that, and you deserve a lot of credit. And I know y'all would never take it, but I'm going to give it to you.
Oh, thank you.
It takes people at the helm to make those things work. Thank God for you two, right? It's not easy, and what a commitment. And these are mothers, man. I'm telling you from a father's standpoint, mothers are the cat's meow. I mean, they're the ones that look.
That's right.
Them guys go to work and they'll work 12-hour shifts and all those sorts of things, but you put them at home with 3 or 6 kids or whatever, and it's like, I want to go to work.
That's right. That's true.
Because y'all are the real, y'all are the glue, right? And in between all of that, you're doing all of this good. It's just, it makes me feel very, very inadequate. Maybe.
No.
I am not doing enough.
Hey, just a little shout out about all those wonderful statistics. Our president of our board, Justin Wax, put those together for us. So
Thank you, Justin Wax, for that.
Yes, we do have
the best.
We have the best board of directors. We do, and there are some amazing leaders in our community that sit on our board, and we don't ever want them to get off.
We don't. And we finally figured out that we needed 7 other people that were 7 distinctly unique people that brought something different to the table for us. And so once we did that, oh my gosh, that
was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Before that, we were just running by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
We had all of our friends on the board.
I know it wasn't a good idea. Yeah, it's been great. So I mean, absolute shout out to our board because they are the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, shout out board.
Yep.
Very good job. Let me ask you now, someone, do you take I'm sure you have people that bring you food, actual food. Is that something you accept or?
Yeah, we do. We do. I guess the biggest thing about it is that what makes the greatest impact kind of food is single serve individual foods that that a kid's going to eat.
Yeah.
Kid-friendly.
Ravioli.
Kid-friendly.
Yeah.
Raviolis, Vienna sausages.
Easy Mac.
Yes. Things like that. Even ramen. I mean, kids like ramen.
Yeah.
There are just those kinds of things that you think your kid would snack on. Dawn and I say all the time, if you wouldn't eat it or you wouldn't serve it to your child, don't bring it.
Great
We
point.
don't want it.
We don't want it.
We don't want it.
I mean, we want to treat every child in the way we would want to treat our own kids. We don't want hand-me-down clothes that have holes in them. We
don't want expired canned goods.
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
cleaned out your
That's
paper.
right.
You know, I mean,
You
come on.
wouldn't eat it or serve it to your own child. That's not the donations that we want. And so I guess that's the biggest thing. But absolutely, my gosh, we have a van full of food right now from one of the elementary schools that I picked up yesterday.
Beautiful.
Amazing how much food. The high school, Denham High School, just did a fundraiser. The amount of food that they raised was unbelievable. So yes, bring us the food.
Right, and if somebody's interested in what we need, they can email us or go to we're about to post our summer needs. So we'll be changing up some food items for the summer, but we would love people to help us with that as well.
Yes, and of course, I personally am going to link every all the stuff we talked about today. It'll be linked, and I'm going to make it my business to do that. And I'm going to task Casey, who's off camera right now. She loves when I task
She loves
her.
tasks.
I'm going to task her with really brainstorming. One of the things she's great at is just brainstorming things, and sometimes it's like, woo, but there's some genius in there. You just got to work through.
You got to pull it out.
Yeah, but I'm going to task her with really coming up with some innovative ways that we can help, other than just the shout outs. So we want to really get involved here with Mighty Moms. And if we're going to make a commitment to make that kind of our home charity, we want to make sure that we're doing things to kind of raise money and whatever we can do to help.
Thank
So
you.
Congratulations, Casey. You draw a short straw.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Casey has been involved with Mighty Mom since
From the
get-go
beginning.
too. She was
Yeah.
involved in the prayer group at my
Yes.
house, and our kids were growing up. We talked yesterday about how some of the crazy things about 10 years ago, how we met, and all kinds
She
of
has
crazy stuff.
sweated out in the summer with us.
Yes. It's God had
Casey
a plan for that
sweat,
relationship
what?
as well.
Yes, it's cute. I mean, just a little fun fact about Sweet Casey is that all three of us have boys that are the same age, and so they went to elementary school together. They played ball together, and so yeah, we know us some Casey.
Oh yeah, she's a great gal.
crazy Casey.
Yeah, she is crazy in a good way. So give us a shout out on your Facebook.
Okay, we will. Absolutely.
No, I mean tell people what your Facebook is.
Sorry.
Give you a shout out.
But you can give me a shout out too.
I think it's just Mighty Mom.
Yes, it's Mighty
Is it
Moms.
okay?
Yeah,
And you
Mighty
can go
Moms.
there and search Mighty Moms, and
Yeah.
it'll pull up website. You know your web address.
MightyMomsGo.org.
There you go. So we're gonna, as I said, link all of that to this episode. Thank you for coming by. Did y'all have fun?
Thanks for having us. We
did.
did.
That's
It's
the
a
goal.
blast.
That's the goal, to have fun and really shed a light on what you're doing. Y'all are some beautiful women who are doing some amazing things right here in Livingston Parish.
Thank you.
And I'm sure I speak for all my listeners and viewers when I say how much I appreciate that, really.
Our pleasure.
Thank you very much. Casey McMurray is off camera, but she is the executive producer of Local Leaders of the Podcast, and I could not do any of this without her. So thank you very much, Casey, for that. I want to thank all my sponsors at Local Leaders of the Podcast. I could not do any of this without all of you. Until next time, I am Jim Chapman, reminding you to love your community, support local business, support your nonprofits, especially Mighty Moms,
Oh, thank you.
and keep leading. Thank you. Black Sheep Creative understands the importance of digital marketing and your return on your investment. It's their aim to provide professional web and graphic design services at a price point that smaller businesses and startups can afford. Get in touch with them on the web at blacksheepcreative.com. Sporting Center in Denham Springs is your one-stop shop for team sports equipment, school uniforms, and promotional goods. Conveniently located next to the Antique Village since 1977. Sporting Center, your business means everything to them because your name rides
on everything they do.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.